thank you so much for tuning in and clicking on this video. It's the latest on trend with your girl, Biani. Hey, we are back. Hi, Instagram. Hi, YouTube. We are back with another reaction. As you guys can see on the screen, we're going to be talking about Full Disclosure. It's just finished. We're a little bit late because we'll be having these technical difficulties, okay? We're getting the hang of this, but bear with us. We are live, and if you are in the building, make sure that you smash that like button for me, please. Today, I've got, once again,
It's gotta be done.
It's gotta be done. Make sure you check her out. Also, we're going to be doing reaction. I see people coming in.
Ooh.
Yes.
Bam, 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 bam.
Come. All right. Okay,
Charlie,
cool.
today we're gonna talk.
Today we are going to talk. Can you guys hear us? By the way, please let us know if you can hear us. But yeah, we're gonna jump into it. So, Full Disclosure, episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
I think
the third couple set.
Yes. Yeah. The third couple. Yeah, the third couple.
Set.
So Lani and Esther, if you guys know, then you know. If you don't know, they are former Backchat London cast members, and it looks like they were dating the same guy. So that's what the topic of discussion was, from what I heard. So yeah, we're gonna start from the beginning, and then we're just gonna like break it down, what I thought about it, what you thought about it, and yeah, it was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Oh, I thought teeth check. Yeah.
Teeth check. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are we good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it was interesting. It went a little bit.
Yeah, the conversation was a bit all over the place.
Yeah, the conversation.
I feel like it was towards the middle part. I felt like it was Esther just talk. I felt like it was all about Esther, and then Lani just chucked in like her little sass.
Yeah.
Like it started off being, okay, girl, let's have a conversation because, girl,
it seems like.
And then towards the middle part, it was almost like, okay, this is what I went through, and this is my story, because Lani only had 2 weeks of the situation, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's take it back. For those who didn't watch it, so Lani and Esther, it seems like they dated the same guy. Now, when they were talking, I was just like, who is this guy?
What are we talking
about? A lot of people in the comments were saying, because I was in the comments, okay, a lot of people were saying that maybe it was like Mark or something like that, because I think she said when we was on Backchat, that's when I knew of you or something, and I think then people got confused, thinking that she was saying that the guy was also on Backchat, but what I think she meant is that's where she met Lani on Backchat. That's how I perceived it anyway. I don't know about you guys.
I just wanted them to let us know who it is.
Yeah, me too. I was just like, who is this guy? Because like even Esther was just like, oh, if anybody needs to be cancelled, it needs to be him. How are we gonna cancel him if we don't even know who it is? Like, how are we supposed to cancel him?
I can understand why she probably don't want to say, because maybe you never know what agreements people have in the background, and obviously he does have a career in the public eye, and this was probably a long time ago. So
it was like 2 years now,
exactly. So she's come on to the show to tell her story, but at the same time, the way she said she carries herself, not to tarnish another person's character, so better leave his name out of her mouth.
And also, I mean, I think she would be happy to see him, like, because she was saying that he shouldn't be given any platform. So she's obviously still, I feel like she is still kind of dealing with it, and she's in a space where she's able to talk about it.
Okay, pause. Let's go back to how they both got on the couch.
Yeah, okay, so who invited who? I think Lani invited.
I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Let us know in the comments.
Who invited who?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like it's the person that comes first.
They both look really, really good. They both look really pretty.
As usual.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, whoever invited whoever, so they're both sitting down, and what I actually liked the beginning, like to me it felt authentic. It felt like, okay, this is real. This is not like
Made
fake.
up.
It was not made
Yeah.
up. Yeah, because you can actually feel the awkwardness and you can feel like the tension. Like they didn't know where to start. And usually when people address some type of conflict or like when they address something, it's always like that. It's always like I don't know, where do we start? Like who's starting what? Like so I really liked that beginning. Like to me it felt genuine, it felt authentic. And then Lani started and she was just like, okay, well, I can't remember how she started. Was it with a question or something like that? I can't remember, child.
It was 20 minutes ago.
I know she started and she basically like asked a question, I think. And anyway, they revealed that they were dating the same guy who was quite abusive. And I think what was hurtful for Esther was the fact that I think Lani kind of tried to make it about her. Like it was almost like she told her like, listen, this guy is clearly like cheating on you or something. But then behind her back, she tried to carry on a relationship.
So the story goes, right? So Esther's got a potential future husband. They're all happily whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lani comes into the picture for only about 2 weeks. So then Lani finds out that, oh, so you have a girl. So then she gets petty and decides to call the girl up. Then Esther's like, I'm on my grown woman stuff. We can have a discussion, honey. So I think where the awkwardness comes from, where Lani probably didn't know the depth of their relationship, and then she tried to go in to say like, well, guess what he's doing? Ha ha ha. But it backfired on her because he's just trifling.
And also, like, they weren't friends. So Lani and Esther weren't friends.
Yeah.
But it was a thing where it's like, if you're gonna come to me like woman to woman, like, and tell me about the guy that I'm seeing, like, why then would you go behind my back again to be like, oh, why not me, kind of thing? And like, you know, me and the guy are serious. It's like she might as well have not said anything. And with Lani, it's like she didn't want to be the side chick, like, and when she kind of realized that, like, I actually might be the side chick, then she kind of went really petty.
She went petty.
Then she went petty.
I think she's one of those females where she can't accept, or it takes her a long time to accept her position, or she wants somebody else's life.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I don't know if she wants somebody else's life.
No, but why would she call? What was her intention to call Esther up when you've only known the guy for 2 weeks? What, to tell her what?
And on top of that, you already had confirmation from other people, like your friends, that he is seeing Esther.
Yeah, so I'm sure, like, they both said they work in the same field, so you would have known who Esther is dealing with and vice versa. So you probably thought, maybe let me entertain whatever the situation may be. And then it didn't quite work out to your favor. Now you want to come to Esther, but Esther probably already had an inkling that, you know what, this person's a certain type of way, and because they had a mutual respect for each other, she was probably not gonna start any type of harsh whatever.
And also, like, Esther's is older.
She's a mother.
Older than Lani.
She's a mum, so she's not going to start any drama over a guy she already knows he's a bit loopy, doesn't he's
narcissistic.
Yeah,
that word, the N word.
That word.
And also, maybe with Lani, she may be the type of character, maybe then I think she's done a lot of growing up, like that kind of looks for that validation from people. So when she got with this guy, knowing in the back of her head that he's with Esther, and like a lot of people, he's like in the scene, he's in the industry, she probably thought to herself, oh well, like, I'm Lani, like.
But I think from what I got, I mean, that was the first kind of 10-15 minutes of them just kind of understanding their position in his life and kind of coming together as two women and saying, oh, do you know what, we both got played. But what I mean, I was on Esther's side, by the way. Esther, I was on her side. Lani, I'm like, you knew the guy for 2 weeks, you probably knew what the situation was.
At some point she did,
but then you just wanted to be petty. Like, what did you want?
Which is what she said.
And I feel like she hides behind the fact that she's petty.
Yeah, and she kind of uses it as like a brand thing now. It's like she's trying to make it a brand. It's like, I'm petty.
You know,
like,
those people where it's like you want the smoke but you don't want the smoke. Like, if you ever come to me, some women was like, you come, like, some women know their men cheat, they know their men are bad, so don't come to me and tell me nothing, because I'll come for you. And I feel like some women just need to know their place. And it's like, if you're going to entertain a guy that you already know is dating, what do you want us to talk about? You basically want us to fight. You basically want us to
either like you want us to fight, or like you're looking for clout, or like something. Like,
because it turned out that Esther was confronting Lani, but it's like, how am I confronting you? You've only known him for 2 weeks. Like, like, I'm the one that's heartbroken. I'm the one that's going through the
like really and truly, like, I'm the one that was done dirty. Like,
but you want, so that first half was kind of I think that's what.
And I think like Esther was kind of like over it. Like, I think she was just like, okay, like I'm talking about it now because I can talk about it, because I'm like over it. But I think like she handled it like really well. Like, she dealt with it privately. Like, she got over it. She was never gonna come on some drama thing. Like, she was never gonna come on some petty thing. She already knows, like, you know what, Lani, like, maybe this is how you handle your situation. But as for me, baby girl, like, I'm a grown woman out here in these streets. Okay, I'm a whole mother. If it was me, and I think that's when she kind of opened the door to her Tion thing, because it's like she was like waiting to like, because I think I do remember back in the days when the whole Tion thing happened. I think I remember Esther commenting, and they had like a little, I don't know, not a back and forth, but I think Lani was a little bit hurt by Esther's response. So I think that was a time for Esther to kind of like address it in a way where it was like, if it was me, if I handled it, I would have handled it differently, because it became about Tion, and I was like, how did it get to this?
Yeah, I think from what you've said, I think she brought it up for clarity, just to that, girl, I don't have a problem with you. But the way I would have handled it is different. But I understand that we are different people, and we see situations differently. I think the whole point of the conversation, how it kind of circled back around, was that we are grown. Let's have mature, open, honest conversation. Despite the fact that we both have been hurt, and it could literally go the other direction. And I like the fact that she mentioned culture, because a lot of the time culture does have a big part in how women stay in bad situations. You know, it's not as easy. Okay, let me just we skipped where she said you see Lani trying to be messy, going, well, I heard a rumor, did you buy the car?
Like, and she kept on like bringing in different like people, or she kept, like, you know, even when she was like sitting there, like, I was looking at like their face expression, like their eyes and stuff, and like there was sometimes when Lani was speaking, like Esther came across to me like she was just kind of like over it. She was just like, okay, like there was a bit where the camera was a bit like afar, and then Esther was just like, okay, like, I'm just taking it in. Like, she's done a lot of like growing up and maturing, like definitely from when she was back in the days and back on Backchat. And like, even when Lani would bring out like all the rumors, and Esther was just like, okay, like, tell me all of them then, like, let's
specific.
Like, be specific, because now you're trying to bring it up. Like, I thought you was gonna bring them all up, like, you know, she was ready to like, I ain't got nothing to be ashamed of.
I like how she kind of addressed where Lani didn't even have any leg to stand on, because it is like, it's like, okay, we can talk about it, but it is rumors. And she's like, yeah, I did get him the car, whatever the situation may be. And it does happen. It's like, if you're with your partner and you really think you're gonna have a future with that person, they will move in. Well, some people just move.
She said he didn't move it yet. I mean, he was uninvitedly invited. He just invited himself.
It's like that program, Young, Rich and Famous, when the girl, Kutzi's girlfriend, and he was
like, she stays there too much. Like, I mean,
we don't live together, but she's there 5 days of the week.
That's too much. Okay,
it's one of those.
No, first it's like you first start with like a toothbrush, and then it's like suddenly then you take one whole cupboard, and before you know it, it's like, I need a key.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So
cut me a key.
uninvited guest, but you're welcome, but you're not really invited.
Yeah.
Like, no, like we need to create boundaries.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it happens where you're together and then you believe you're gonna have a future. You do pillow talk, and yes, you can't. There's no problem in her saying she got the card. The only issue really is he's not a genuine person.
Yeah, it's just like her heart was in the right place.
Yeah,
Because realistically, like you're saying, it's what you do. Like when you are in a committed relationship, you plan that person will be at your house or you'll be at their house.
yeah,
And yeah, you want to like level up together, like if it's to get like a car or whatever.
yeah.
But I just think that we just have to be a little bit more wiser. Maybe I think there's a
CRB checks.
there's a lot of lessons that like I think we
Yeah.
should learn from these ladies.
Yeah.
From Lani with the whole Tion situation, from Esther. It's just like, yes, it's nice to do these things, but like let's slow it down a little bit.
And I like how she pointed out the fact that because she was real, she didn't want no CCJs or anything like that. Because
yeah, she just
one thing is when you get things in loans or credit or whatever, you need to pay these people back.
Yeah.
And when you don't pay it back, you mess up your credit. When you mess up your credit, it takes years to build back your credit up, and you can't get nothing. And everybody don't have cash ready like that, and most things are on credit.
Yeah.
Like you can literally get everything on. You can go to Amazon and get credit.
Yeah.
So I don't blame. I'm glad she brought up the fact that, you know what, he nearly messed her up, but luckily for her, she kind of swerved that situation, because you don't want to be in her 30s or 40s and, you know, have a bad CCJ because, you know, an ex-partner you thought was gonna live happily ever after just completely messed up your credit, and now you can't even get a mortgage, you can't even get a car,
nothing,
you can't even get a simple credit card or whatever because somebody else messed up your finances.
Yeah. And but one thing that I also like what she was saying that I think we need to highlight is like, if you are going to do that for somebody, you need to make sure that you've got the money to pay it in case they can't pay it, or you need to have like a plan put in place. You should always have that, like, you know, for whatever happened, like if a payment is missing, you can cover that payment so that you can have a private agreement with that person, but just always make sure that you're able to cover the payments.
Let them sign some paperwork, get the solicitors out, like, we can do this. If you want to really get technical, sign some documents so anytime it comes back you can
yeah. But you say that, but like realistically, like that's the problem with like young girls or like girls most days, like you don't think like, oh, I want to take that person and have like a legal agreement. Like you wouldn't do that with somebody that you love or care about. You're just like, oh, okay, whatever. And even if you have something on paper, like, can they afford it? Like, I just feel like have money ready to make sure that you can cover the payments. If you're paying £125 a month, make sure that you also have that £125, because if that's a missed payment, best believe that's going to go on your file, like not theirs. Yours.
If it's under your name, you're responsible.
If it's under your name,
but they'll be enjoying that life though.
They'll be enjoying that life. And even if they're like, oh yeah, I'll pay you back, it's a missed payment. That's what you have to understand. A missed payment is a missed payment. Is dangerous. So you don't want to have a missed payment. If the 25th is coming and the money is not in your account, just put £125 and then deal with it privately with that person and be like, yo, listen, you missed a payment. Like, let's talk about it, because then you'll know in the future whether they're going to keep missing payments.
You shouldn't have to go through that, but it's a reality.
It's a reality, 100%. So so I really like the fact that she brought that up. She brought it up and she covered it,
because it goes with, like, even if you want to get like a bag, you want to get like a designer stuff, you can get everything on credit and finance. And, you know, don't trust no one to get you to get them anything on under finance, your name. By no circumstances are you going to allow another person to say, oh, get it on your own and build up your own credit and get it under your name. That's the thing. Be very, very careful. Very, very careful who you allow to
put like on credit.
Be very, very careful.
And the thing is as well, it's like, if that person makes you feel like, oh, like if they bring you trouble, if they make you feel bad at the fact that you refuse to take something on their credit, then that's a big sign that something is wrong with the relationship. It's like if they like, oh, like you're not supporting me, like they want to break up with you, or like take that as a red flag. And that, yeah, a big red flag, because if they are willing and prepared to leave you because you don't want to put your credit on the line for them, then they obviously don't care about your future.
Yeah,
because that's your whole future.
Yeah, that's your future. It takes years to build credit.
And like, isn't it 6 years?
It can be wiped off just by silly mistakes, and you have to literally rebuild it all up. And
literally,
it's a hard road.
It's a serious thing.
Yeah, it's really serious. Because then once you're now ready to settle down, have a family, you'll come to a point you're like, oh, that's 6 years ago. You didn't deal with it, and now you can't.
And you know how like deep that whole credit thing is? It's like, even if you want to like marry and you want to have like a joint account with your partner, like that's going to affect your relationship, because that's a discussion that you're going to have the debt that you have, and that partner has to make a serious decision whether they want that to be affected, because your debt will affect their debt. And that's something that you have to bear in mind. And I think these are things that people don't talk about. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship,
could do like a whole debt series.
Yeah, no, it's serious. I worked in debt collection, okay, so I get very passionate about this because I've heard people's stories, and it's really sad that a lot of people don't know things like that. It's like, if you're gonna, like, it's a discussion you have to have. These are the questions we need to, like, are you in debt? Like, how much debt are you
what's
in?
your credit score?
What's your credit looking like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People always think, oh, women shouldn't. Oh, no, we need to know
your credit score. You need to know, because it's going to affect your future. Yeah, because if you go and most of the time as a married couple, you want to have a joint account, even partners that are not married, because not everybody believes in marriage. So some people that live together, you want to have a joint account. Maybe all the bills will go in that account. The bank, a good advisor will tell you before you join your account, do you know that if that person has bad credit, that will affect you? Like, and that's a serious thing to think about. Don't just think, oh, I'm in love. Like, we need to stop romanticizing love, because when we do that, then we really get blinded by our feelings. Like, we need to look at the reality. Like, what's your credit looking like?
Yeah.
So I think it's really great that Esther brought that up. And the way that she spoke about it as well, it was like, I had to clear all of that. I had to pay for it because I didn't want that.
Yeah.
As a 30-year-old woman, like, I'm going to be 31. I think she's going to be 31. Like, for that age, like, I don't want to have bad credit on my name.
She had to literally take money out of her own pocket for a situation she didn't really 100%.
That wasn't her fault. She didn't put herself in that situation.
I like the fact that she took accountability. She said, for her actions in that relationship. But nonetheless, I mean, there was a lot of key moments and key points that they raised, and she was quite honest with the conversation. And she said she dealt with domestic abuse and culture, finance. There were so many in the conversation, women talk, what we need to deal with, and how she holds herself and how confident a woman should be. And then she made it to how she holds herself. And then, she said something to Lani, whereas you always put yourself down. It's like, it doesn't matter if the world thinks I'm ugly, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot. The conversation was very, very good, but I feel like it was almost like a one-sided. Like,
I don't know how open, like, I don't know how receptive Lani was.
Yeah, I feel like she just wanted to have like a light, let's tread on thin ice, whereas Esther wanted to be like, okay,
let's have woman to woman. Let's
I've dealt with domestic violence, kind of like, okay, have you, or is there?
Like, it could have been more openness or what, like, but I kind of felt like Lani was still trying to like dig a little bit, like, what I heard, like, this is what maybe she was trying to bring the entertainment and bring like the tea,
she kind of did like a gossip, because even like, for example, when she found out, she was like, oh, my friend, I told my friend about my friend, and
Lani, we're trying to have a serious conversation.
So then she kind of, said, oh, she's got a big mouth and she tells everybody everything, and it's like, that's all great, but when you come from a culture such as Esther's, where she said, when you deal with things in a home, it stays in a home, that's a different way of dealing with it. It's good to have a loud mouth.
And Lani's African too. It's like, she also has like a culture. It's like, it would have been great, because like, even with the loud mouth thing, she was just like, oh, when Esther had asked her, like, would you have sat down and like spoken about it, and then she was just like, oh, maybe because I've got a big mouth. And then I think Lani was just like, no, it's not not even that, because I've got a big mouth too.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not-
she was trying to be like, listen,
Yeah.
like I've got a big mouth, and I've also got girls that told me about what they went through. I just didn't like.
Yeah.
It was just
it's
like,
not about
it's
having
not
a big
about
mouth
that.
or not. You know, when women, men, vice versa, whatever you go through, it's not about having a big mouth. Like Esther said, she's like, she is strong. She had to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Because as much as you can have that persona of I'm brave, I'm strong,
Mm-hmm.
when you genuinely care for someone and they betray you,
Yeah.
they've betrayed you. You need
Yeah.
healing, you need uplifting, you need
Mhm.
you know. And I feel like in that moment when, you know, Lani had her 2 weeks with her boyfriend, that
Mhm.
was a moment where she felt betrayed by another woman. She probably had to seek
that she even worked with, like she was on
Yeah.
the same set with. And I think like Esther was really trying to be open and vulnerable,
Yeah.
but I don't think she was getting the same
No,
from Lani.
yeah.
And like she could see that maybe Lani was trying to like throw a bit. She was just like, okay, throw it at me,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. But it was good because she said she went to therapy for about 6 months or something.
Yeah, she's got.
And
And then she was just like,
"Do
you pay for it?" Is that
So
what
of
you're about to
course,
say?
I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
for my healing. Whatever.
I didn't get
need-
what that question was.
No,
Like what?
it's
like,
like I'm gonna pay for my healing because that's part of me. That's how I become better as a woman overall. I'm not gonna. There should be no finance question about
Yeah.
who. That's irrelevant to the point.
Like, what was the point of asking
Yeah,
that question?
I didn't get that point. I really didn't get that point. I just felt like,
And even the way she was just like, you pay for it, like.
Yeah. But the whole conversation sit down was kind of to me irrelevant because she was only in his life for 2 weeks. And we don't know how long Esther and her ex-boyfriend were in the relationship for.
Isn't that 2 years, she said, or something like that?
Yeah, so a 2-week fling, you like, what conversations are we really having? So the conversation was about 10 minutes, and then after they kind of went into different sectors.
Yeah, and then it was really about Esther just speaking her truth, really.
Yeah.
And like, even when but what I really found touching was when Esther was talking about her the abuse that she went through.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me, please, if you guys can remind me of the name, there was recently a gospel artist who died through abuse. And when Esther was talking about the culture and being raised in a Nigerian household, and just basically it's almost like you have to just shut up, like whatever is going on, whatever abuse you're going through, like you just deal with it. You just have to deal with it. Close your doors. Nobody should know what's going on in the house. And I think that was very, very key part of the conversation, because we shouldn't be raising our young girls to just put up with abuse. Like this whole woman like died, she got beaten. I even read a little bit, she was like in a coma, and I just thought to myself, how much beating did she get to
the
be
point
where she had to be in a coma? And she was also part of that culture, and this is a really famous gospel singer. And so when Esther was speaking her truth, it was like, we need that to be highlighted. Like we shouldn't.
It's happening a lot.
Happening a lot, and it is a lot of it has to do with culture. A lot of it has to do with the way that we've been brought up, especially as young Black African
and I think it
women.
highlights the fact that people are under pressure, and when you're in a relationship and you've got the pressure, sometimes you lash out and you use violence as a weapon, not necessarily to harm the other person, but it just becomes a tool. And when something becomes a tool and you use that tool may not be a working tool, and it becomes harmful to the point where there will be, you will need to go to therapy to get over that trauma. And then in the worst case scenario, you will end up dead. And that's the reality of it. Like domestic abuse, it can lead to somebody dying, and we should not, it's happening a lot with culture where it's a different time now.
We're in a different
time with different rules, and women have been raised differently. Back in the day, maybe 50s, 60s, women were probably just putting up with it. But now it's like the young girls now, they don't want that. They don't want to just be quiet and I'm not going to say anything. They don't want it.
No.
They don't want it. They don't want it, and they're not gonna speak up. If you're in a situation, speak up. And I think Lani was trying to say that, but I don't think it came across in that way where she said, I'm a loudmouth. I think that's what she was trying to say. Well, I would have
I
spoken
also
up.
speak, yeah,
But I
because
don't
I've got a
think,
big mouth. Because she was saying
yeah,
that even the guy was trying to be like, oh, don't tell anybody,
yeah.
and she was just like,
Yeah,
why,
because
why?
control starts in different way. You might be the most confident person or whatever, and he will just creep up over time. And he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't just start off by like automatically like boof, you know. He's
Mm-hmm.
something that creeps up over time, and depending on whatever the other person's going through, and it could be a woman, you know, doing it to the guy, it's vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that happens first verbally, like she said, she, you know, it was the verbal, is the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the isolation. There's
Yeah.
different layers to domestic abuse, and it
Yes,
goes
yeah.
vice versa towards men or women doing it to men. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's definitely something that culturally, yes, definitely stand up, because times have changed.
Yeah. Let me just read this comment. So someone says, I totally respect your point of view, but completely disagree with your assessment of Lani. I think Lani was authentic to what she experienced, which was short-lived.
Exactly my point. That's exactly what we're saying. We're saying the experience that she had was so short-lived, that the conversation that they both had,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was.
it doesn't we will never dismiss her short-lived moment, the 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's her experience, that's her assessment of the situation. But once they've sat down and, you know, we try to understand Esther's point of view, which is she's in a long-term relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Lani, who's in a 2 week relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be respectful. Then, you know,
She couldn't reach, like,
it's like,
she could empathize with Esther, but she couldn't really, because she was just like,
yeah,
what, like, because even when Esther was saying about like the guy, she was just like, well, like, I
she
didn't
hasn't
really like
exactly,
experience
yeah,
that, but I respect what you went through, because
yeah,
obviously like you went through the most. Maybe that's why you can speak about it the way you
exactly.
speak
and
about
and
it.
and what was telling was when Lani called Esther, Esther already knew from her the sound and what she was saying that it is to be true, because
Mm-hmm.
she would have experienced the abuse, she would have experienced the verbal whatever, the experience, the lie. So when another woman calls her and tells her the exact same thing that she's already experienced, she can't dismiss it. She can only allow that woman to speak and comfort that person, because she knows, do you know what, you are speaking truthfully, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to comfort you in that moment. But
Mm-hmm.
Esther just had more leverage because
She had been through it like longer, and plus like I don't think Lani got like it didn't get as deep because it was only short lived. Like
yeah,
she only got the little like, oh, don't talk to them. Like
yeah,
she was just getting kind of the edge of the isolation was only
yeah,
starting
it was
to
just, yeah,
happen. Like it didn't really happen, because obviously even when he was on the podcast and stuff, and he didn't want Lani to speak about their relationship, so he was only starting to really isolate them, so she
and
didn't experience
yeah.
it to the level
And
that.
again, just to be fair to the guy, it might just be his way of talking, and you know, it's 2 weeks, so he might just be like, oh, don't talk. You know, he might have his little plan, but you, in a 2 week thing, and if you're coming across as you're not really, if she said that she never knew about Esther at all, because she never knew nothing about her in that 2 weeks, you wouldn't assess that person in a
As
negative light.
where,
You wouldn't
yeah.
take it as that.
Yeah, and
So
that's why she was kind of saying like, I wouldn't really speak on it because I
yeah,
didn't really experience, and she didn't really see it like that.
yeah,
That's why a lot of the time when Esther was telling her truth, she was just like, oh wow, really? Like
yeah,
a lot of her reaction was just like, oh wow, like okay, like
yeah.
it was new information to her because she didn't see that side of the guy.
But it's good that she said, when Lani said, you know what, if I had opened my mouth to my friend, I would have known things a lot sooner. So sometimes it's good when you're dating men or women, vice versa. It is good to tell your friend who you're dating, because
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
a
yeah,
small
yeah.
world, and you don't, like, revelation will come about the person. You're like, oh, really
Yeah.
now?
Please don't keep your relationship hidden
Yes.
so long. Like once you know that you're talking to the guy,
Let
like
the world know.
okay, maybe not the world, but let your
let your
friends know,
so they can catch him outside, catch him outside. It's
yeah.
like, oh, is it? That's where you at.
Literally, because imagine, yeah, it's like if your friends know him, they know his face, and they see him out with like doing some madness, at least they can be like, rah, I saw him doing some madness. But if nobody knows, like,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be helping
At least
you
you know
check?
from the beginning, and you can exit
Yeah.
early rather than 5 years time, and then you're like, oh,
I wish that I spoke to people. That's so true.
So it's good that she kind of mentioned that, because sometimes, the guy would try and hide it, or vice versa. It works both ways. And it's like, no, honey, we're not going to do that in private. Not right now.
Yeah.
We're getting to know each other, so there is no need to hide if we just getting to know each other as friends.
Yeah.
Like,
someone says it's prevalent in Caribbean households too. Yeah,
it's definitely, it is. Like, whatever goes in the home, keep it in the home, don't take it outside. That's basically what it is. And a lot of the time, yes, fair enough, but when it comes to abuse, I think it's definitely good to be able to speak.
You need to have
like a confidence or something,
to
or
speak
a way
out,
because it'll creep up. And sometimes if you think something's a bit odd, say it, because that oddness can be stopped at an early stage. Because we don't speak up early enough, by the time it's bad, it's like, oh, it's bad. Whenever you feel something's a bit awkward, you don't quite speak up, because that little awkwardness can be stopped at an early point, and you don't have to suffer for a longer period of time. You can just bam, stop it right there and then. So be very, very vigilant, because people are cunning.
Vigilant. So let me read out this comment. I'm not even sure there was a need to take sides. I think Lani can rub people the wrong way, but I believe both ladies were authentic and mature in the conversation. Nobody. We're not saying that she wasn't immature.
I think when I said I took side, for me personally, I took side because I just felt like, in regards to what Esther brought to the conversation, she brought a lot of important key points to the conversation. That's where I was like, okay, I'm on Esther's side. It's not let me take side, or she's done. No, it's none of that. It's just who brought more
that you could kind of take,
who brought more talking points to the conversation, that as women, we can carry on the conversation. We can talk about the finance now, we can talk about abuse, we can talk about verbal, physical abuse, we can talk about confidence. She brought so many key points that we can take away and really dissect and grow from that. That's my side of saying I take Esther's side.
And I think the conversation was navigated really,
but you need
really
a balance with everything. You can't, they brought balance to the conversation, because I feel like if it was too heavy, maybe someone might not receive the heaviness. So you need to have a balance to everything. So I think they both did great. They both did great. They did.
I think they navigated the conversation really well. Even when they kind of went off topic and started talking about Tion, she still managed to bring it back to the guy that they were dating.
It's about having balance. It's like, and they both listen, and no one was talking over each other. They showed really good communication skills.
They did. They did. They really listened. They really showed a lot of respect for one another and maturity. So when one was talking, they were really taking it in and listening. Even if they wanted to come in and say something, but they were really just stood back and listen. And you can see in their eyes and what was kind of going through their mind almost. But I think they translated that, communicated that really well.
I think the conversation was important to show women can come together and can talk, even though they had the same ex-partner.
And especially because we obviously know them from Backchat, and on Backchat, can we even hear anybody? So for them, for us to now see them sitting
in
down in a different light. And for me personally, I feel like Esther has done so much growing up, and maturing, and just hearing them talk and conversate the way that they did and address a situation the way that they did. Now, what I would have liked to see though is maybe Esther and Nunu, and to see how they would have communicated that, because I think that would have been.
I think Lani gets on with everybody. I think she's got a good nobody. I feel like the ladies brought whatever they brought to the table, and it was well balanced. It's like having a well balanced meal. You can't have too much of one thing. You can't have too little of one thing. It's like a nice balanced meal.
So
that was basically it. They've got part. Is it part two? And then they've brought another person,
an extra person.
And then there's
so much goes on. It's it's a small world, isn't it? It's what Esther was saying about the culture. They are what makes the culture in the UK. All of these influencers that just know each other.
And I like that she brought that up. It is a small, and everybody needs to stick together.
But they don't. I'm sorry, they really don't.
I mean, everybody needs to stick together.
Everybody should, like, especially like what she brought up about like them kind of bringing being the culture. It's almost that same thing that she had, like we were the originals of like Backchat, like we made Backchat kind of thing. And I think Esther has that type of mentality, but it's just kind of like, here we see like two women who we would have probably thought that, oh, they all got on because they were on the same show, but a lot of them do these fake online social relationships. Clearly there's issues that we don't even know about, because now they're bringing it us to the screen that they've been dating the same man. And I think being that these UK influencers make the culture, like why is there such a division, and why does everybody keep saying that UK is bad vibes if they make this culture? Like, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. It's just like,
I think what you're trying to say is, we make the culture, so let's embrace the culture and let's grow the culture to a different height.
Yeah, but that's not what they are doing though. Like they create this persona that the UK, this is the UK culture, but really underneath it is all fake and people fighting each other, and then they come on YouTube, like pretend like they're all buddies and like do all these collabs, and they don't even get on.
Well, I mean, you're gonna disagree with your people sometimes.
It's not even disagreeing, that they just don't like each other.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have disagreement. I think that's what it is. You know, you can't be happy all the time, and you can't be sad all the time. So, you know, sometimes you're gonna have to agree to disagree, and
well, that's just my opinion. Like, I think it'll be great. Like, I think what she is saying is great. Like, that they make up the UK culture in terms of like influencers and like people who are like at a pinnacle in the industry. However, I think in reality, if that was the truth, that would be great. But I just don't think that is the truth. Like, I just feel like,
well, there's a lot to learn and a lot to take from the conversation. Definitely, it was a great scene. Both ladies looked absolutely beautiful as always, showing that ooh la la.
Yeah,
ooh la la.
It's like the battle of the girls, really, isn't it?
Ooh la la, and they're both eloquent. What did you say? Eloquent. No.
Eloquently.
That's the one. Spoke very
eloquently.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to part 2. Yeah. I wonder who that third girl is, because it's like, oh,
there's another one
more. Like, geez, like that's how you know, like it's a small world, because they be dating all the same people. Yeah. They'll be like, it's mad.
Hey, I hope you guys have enjoyed our commentary this evening. At the end of the day, everyone's gonna have different in opinion. Both ladies did an amazing job having an open communication, effective communication, and you know, they're both showing growth. They look stunning, so let us know, you know.
Yeah, and I think they're both doing well, like
in their own right.
Like, yeah, in their own right. Like, coming from Backchat, Esther has really been doing well, like pushing herself, like compared to the other cast members, I think. And also, so is Lani. She's pushing out her content. She's recently brought out a documentary, which I think was really great. So I think they're doing really well, and I like the fact that they were able to respect each other. It wasn't like, oh, I'm older than you, like young Lani, like you're the like young silly girl, like you
and she even lifted her spirit when she said, you know, when
don't bring yourself down. Yeah,
it's, you know, let's not bring ourselves down, ladies. We are beautiful in our own right, men as well in your own right. Respect each other and love each other.
But guys, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'm gonna be coming back on again for part 2 whenever that is. By the way, like I don't even know anymore like what days this show comes on. Like I literally have to wait and see, because I don't know, is it like set days? I don't even know. But Transcendental, please get it together. Okay, like get it together. Because we need to know. Like we need to have proper schedule here.
Yeah, we need a schedule.
Schedule. Yes, Queen Bee mentality.
Exactly. Queen Bee mentality. You're beautiful in your own right.
Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, maybe it's just us. Okay.
We need a schedule.
We need to get it together.
We need to get it together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Right, guys, we're gonna leave you there. Make sure that you head over to It's Got to Be Done and subscribe to her channel. And
stay blessed, stay beautiful, regardless of whatever the world thinks about ya.
Yeah,
you are your number one.
Yes, and make sure that you do subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm heading to 7K, so let's get there. Let's pump this up and smash the like button, your notification bell, and I will speak to you guys in my next video.